DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hey, welcome to FLX Weekly here on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. I'm Jim Sinacropi, live inside the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. And this year marks the 200th, the Bicentennial anniversary of the completion of the Erie Canal in New York State. And there's a ton of events and programs planned for this whole season on the canal, which officially opens on May 16th. And to talk about it today, we'll be welcoming in the director of the New York State Canal Corporation, Brian Stratton, along with Joell Murney-Karsten, who's the manager for government community relations for Central New York. So it should be a great conversation. A lot of stuff going on, too, right here in Seneca Falls, as well as across the state. But first, this episode of FLX Weekly is brought to you by Cafe 19. Breakfast, lunch, pastries, celebratory cakes, pies, and catering. Guaranteed fresh and always local at Cafe 19 in Seneca Falls. Also offering an assortment of beverages, including tea, coffee, and espresso drinks. Check out their full menus and weekly specials at xixcafe.com. And also Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. Thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. So the bicentennial of the commemoration of the Erie Canal kicks off this summer. Full slate of events. We're going to talk all about it. In studio, I have Joell Murney-Karsten. Welcome, Joell. And via remote Zoom, we have welcoming into the show Brian Stratton. He's as I mentioned, the director of the New York State Canal Corporation. Brian, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, Jim. I'm doing great. It's great to be here, even though I'm in Albany. Hearing your sponsor announcements coming in makes me feel like I'm out of the canal. Joell certainly knows that. Cafe 19 is a favorite lunch spot for me when I'm in Seneca Falls. So it was great to hear that opening sponsorship, and it's so good to be with you and all of your listeners on Finger Lakes One to talk about the Bicentennial.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time because this is really exciting. And, a little history lesson, I guess. When I first, started thinking about the Bicentennial, 200 years ago, they completed the canal in Buffalo, which was the first connection between the Great Lakes and the waters of the Atlantic, and everything that's meant for commerce and the growth of New York State and really, the country as a whole. And the engineering marvel it must have been to complete that in 1825. Just give a little context and background to what we're commemorating this season.
Well, it's a New York State achievement story. It's also a national achievement story. It was the first connection possible by water from the Atlantic to the Great Lakes, made possible by the fact that the Appalachian mountain chain has a natural part that was created in the Mohawk Valley, eons ago, and that enabled the opportunity for a route that would pass through the Appalachian chain, and we were able to connect. So you're right. It took 8 years to build. It was started in 1817. It was completed in 1825, and it has never stopped. The Erie Canal has been rebuilt 3 times. And on May 16th, we will start our 201st consecutive navigation season when we open the canal in Waterford at Lock E2. So that's an exciting time. I mean, it was just transformational. It immediately reduced the cost and the time of travel, transportation, and shipping, east to west, west to east. I think the traverse time going from Albany to Buffalo prior to the canal opened probably was 3 weeks by wagon train. Once the canal opened, you could make it in that distance in about
Mm-hmm.
8 days. It reduced the cost of shipping by 10. It was just a great opportunity, and it was immediately successful. The canal paid for itself in about 10 years. The $7.5 million that the state had put up to build the canal was completely cleared. That debt was completely cleared by 1835, and it was an overnight su-
Right.
success, and work began almost immediately to enlarge the canal, and that is largely what the remains and the ruins of the old canal that we see around the state today. Very few remains of the actual Clinton's ditch, 40 feet wide, 4 feet deep, that opened in 1825. But when the canal was expanded to 70 feet wide, 7 feet deep, with double locks, that's what you see around today. And of course, the barge canal came online. The barge canal, the New York State Barge Canal, which we still call the Erie Canal,
Mm-hmm.
and the Cayuga Seneca Canal, came online in 1918. But navigation has never stopped.
Yeah, it's been a part. Anybody that grew up along the canal corridor here in New York State and the Finger Lakes, or like me in Seneca Falls, the canal's been part of our lives for sure. And you touched on what it meant for industry. But Joel and I were talking before the show, and it also did a lot in terms of culture and change and exchange of ideas.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. So not only was commerce, it became, extremely easier to move, but ideas, because of all the people that were moving between the communities. So you had the abolitionist movement, which was, of course, Auburn, was a big part of that, but the women's rights movement right here in Seneca Falls. And you had Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Amelia Bloomer and numerous people that would traverse between Rochester and Seneca Falls. And as you know, Seneca Falls was the women's rights, we're the capital of that. And so the canal really added to all of the people getting on board with those social movements.
Yeah, so there's a lot to commemorate. Certainly this season, and in regards to the 200th anniversary. It's just 2 centuries ago. So there's so much going on. Joel, why don't you just give us an overview of like some of the big events and stuff that we can expect this summer, not only here in Seneca Falls but across the state.
So interestingly, the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor is sponsoring a calendar that we are asking communities to participate in, so they can submit their events that are canal related to be accessed and for anyone and put on this calendar. So right now, if you go to that calendar, you will see a lot of events. Because we're asking the communities to partner with us. So you can find all different things: recreation, arts, music, and history lessons if you wish. And people that wish to post those events can do so on that website that I see you have pulled up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great home base, I guess, for everything going on if you're trying to plan some of your activities this summer. And on the canals, free programs.
That's right. So we offer, it's called On the Canals. There are free programs across the state. There are free outdoor, cultural, accessible, and education adventures so that you can experience the canal system with the changing seasons. So year-round, waterways, trails, and, visiting different communities. The excursions include kayaking, cycling, cruising, hiking, and painting, all kinds of different things, snowshoeing in the winter, and we have adaptive kayaking. As you know, Jim, in 2020, it was initially called Staycations because Seneca Falls was one of the first communities to receive that program, and it has now been expanded to year-round participation, and we have had over 37,000 people participate in these free On the Canals excursions. And one thing I would like to mention is one of the major themes of on the canals is accessibility. We not only offer free events for people, but we want to be sure that everyone has access to these. So we're offering accessibility training for canal communities who want to ensure that everyone is welcome and able to participate in the numerous recreational events along the canal. So if someone's interested, they can certainly reach out, and we have adaptive kayaks. We have adaptive bikes and things that are brought in to show people how it's just important that everyone is included in all types of recreation.
Brian, also a big event that's been happening year after year, but maybe takes on a little more renewed interest this year with the Bicentennial, is the Cycle of the Erie event this summer.
Yeah, that's been going on. I think this will be the 27th year, and we have been proud to partner for many years, maybe all of those 27 years, with Parks and Trails New York, which is a not-for-profit based here in Albany. And for 27 years, or this will be the 26 years, this will be the 27th, they have hosted and conducted the Cycle the Erie Canal ride, which goes from Buffalo to Albany over 8 days and includes 400 miles, a little bit more than the actual canal route, but most of it is actually along the towpath and very near the canal. So this is a ride that has attracted up to 750 riders from all over the country, other parts of the world, Canada, Australia, North America, Europe, and it's just an opportunity for people to get out and really learn about the canal, but really enjoy the opportunity to ride along a beautiful part of the state.
Yeah,
And I think the third or the fourth day is the route that goes from Pittsburgh down into the Finger Lakes to Seneca Falls, and it's a little bit of a detour off of the mainline canal, but it goes through the Amish country leading into Seneca Falls, and it's a beautiful ride. I've done parts of it. I've never done the whole thing end to end. But this year for 2025, Parks and Trails New York, PTNY, wants to get those numbers back up and have as many as 750 riders. So
yeah, we have fun in Seneca Falls when, every summer it's an influx and they camp out up by the high school, and they're all these bikers are downtown. It's exciting when they pass through Seneca Falls for sure. And this year, hopefully, even bigger, with the Bicentennial. Now, there's a PBS documentary too, Brian, that we can look forward to, focusing on the Erie Canal. When does that debut, and when can we expect to watch that on PBS?
Actually, the first segment of that, it's going to be a 10-part series. The first segment of that began airing 2 weeks ago. It is carried on our local PBS station here, WMHT, in the Albany area, but it's also shared with all 8 of the upstate New York PBS stations. Reflections of the Erie Canal, and the first segment, as I said, is already on, and the new segment begins Saturday. And all of these segments focus on various aspects of what the canal is, both historically and how important it is today. The complete series will be produced into a full documentary, and that will air at the World Canals Conference, which gets underway September 21st through 25th in Buffalo. So this is an exciting opportunity to really see a wonderful aspect of the canal, from culture to music to the operations, and how important it is.
Yeah, I look forward to that for sure. I don't think I've ever seen a comprehensive kind of history of the Erie Canal. I've seen bits and pieces, and it's always been interesting. But again, come back to the fact that 200 years ago they built this canal that stretched the length. Anybody that drives on the thruway in New York State, you're on there for hours. If you went from Buffalo to Albany, that's a 4-hour drive. Imagine, digging a canal in 1820, early 1800s to span that type of distance. It's just one of the marvels of the world. So definitely look forward to that documentary. Joel, here in Seneca Falls, though, one of the big events we have to look forward to is a July 4th concert from the Albany Symphony Orchestra. It should be a really great treat for everybody that not only in Seneca Falls, but anybody in the area.
Yes, absolutely, Jim. So the official press release will come out on that with more details on May 16th, but we are happy to share some information. So yes, we have partnered with the Albany Symphony Orchestra, and they are featuring emerging and diverse composers that are going to be offering canal-side concerts and educational programming throughout 2025. It is called Water Music More Voices Festival, and as you mentioned, Seneca Falls is chosen as one of those sites, and that date is July 4th. It's more than just the concert. It is basically honoring the waters that connect us and foster pathways and for fostering ideas. And it's a full-day festival featuring local musicians, artists, produce and artisan goods, plus food and drink, wine and beer, and it's going to be all around town. It's going to be, the event's going to be, as you know, People's Park is currently under construction, so it will be on the Women's Hall of Fame side of the canal.
South side, yep.
Yes, we're partnering with the Bonifiglia Foundation that owns that property, as well as Seneca Falls, the town of Seneca Falls. The Albany Symphony Orchestra is bringing a custom stage on an 18-wheeler that will be part of that.
Wow.
And for anyone that's interested in being one of those vendors, I can give Jim my email so people can reach out. But we are looking for artists who will be staged around, actually engaging in art and being able to talk with people, musicians, student musicians, and then some people will be actually opening up for the Albany Symphony, and likely some of our students will be involved. And as we mentioned, there'll be educational program where they're actually working with the schools. So really exciting.
So a season on the canal, every day, there'll be you can take part in the commemoration of 200 years, but there's also some specific dates where there's some big events. But it all, Brian, kicks off on May 16th. That's the opening day for the New York State Canal System this year. And is there anything special when we open this year on May 16th for the Bicentennial?
Jim, it's always a great opportunity to see some of the larger boats that travel. Many of the first customers into the system when we open up each year are relocating their boats from Florida or southern locations and coming up, making their way to the Great Lakes, Michigan, Canada. So you see a lot of boats ready there. They'll probably come to Waterford early. Waterford is the eastern terminus.
Mm-hmm.
Today's canal, just north of Albany, and Lock E2 on the Erie Canal is where they line up. So we'll be down there very, very early. The local media always likes to come down and see the canal opening. And we'll be there this year to celebrate the 201st consecutive navigation season, greeting boaters, and have the opportunity to really kick off the Bicentennial well.
Yeah, just about 3 weeks away, and anybody that's outside today sees the sunshine, and it looks like we finally made it. So it's time to start to turn our attention towards fun outdoor activities, and a lot of that going on along the canal harbor here in Seneca Falls, and all along the Erie Canal throughout the state. And then also closing later this year, too. Normally it's a mid-October close, but this year it's going to be November 3rd, and there's a reason for that beyond just staying open a little longer. Right, Brian? There's
Yep.
Why don't you fill us in on that?
Well, the canal is going to stay open through November 4th or November 3rd. You must have the right date there on your notes, Jim. But we want the opportunity for people to be on the canal for an extended period of time, because part of the World Canals Conference, again, September 21st through 25th, Buffalo, will be the departure of the replica Erie Canal boat Seneca Chief, which is the boat that Governor DeWitt Clinton took and rode on when he opened the canal in 1825. And we've been supporting our partnership through the Buffalo Maritime Center, and they have built through volunteer labor this beautiful, historically accurate, full-scale replica. And that boat will depart Buffalo on September 24th and make 26 stops across the state. I'm sure Joel knows when they'll be coming nearby and in their route, and we know many boats will want to follow the Seneca Chief. We want to make sure that they're able to get back before the canal closes. So
Right.
route between Buffalo and Albany will be very, very popular.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to at the end of the season for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. There'll be lots of programming and festivities and educational opportunities all along the way, and they'll offer tours of the boat. I've actually been in it, and it's a full scale replica, so really, really interesting to see that families used to live in a boat like that while they were taking their commerce along the canal. It's really, really interesting. And that's, again, the BuffaloMaritimeCenter.org is a website for that and for all of that information. And it is going to be in the Syracuse area, October 4th and 5th. I believe that's one of the closer stops, but we will certainly, that can be, you can check out the website for all the stops along the way.
You mentioned the World Canal Conference in Buffalo. Is that something that we host all the time, or is it hosted by New York State this year because of the Bicentennial of the Erie?
Well,
It is
go
something
ahead,
that
Brian.
is. Oh, go ahead, Joel.
You start, Brian.
All right. It is a conference that is held annually. It is hosted by the Inland Waterways International Group, and these are canal waterway managers from across the globe, North America, Asia, Europe. It's been going on for many, many years. New York State has hosted it. This will be the fourth time New York State has been the host for the World Canals Conference, and we expect up to 500 participants to come from all over together to talk about waterways management and the sustainable practices for canals, and it's an exciting time. So the World Canals Conference was held in Poland last year. I had the opportunity to travel to Poland to receive the handoff from the mayor of Bydgoszcz, Poland, to our hosting, and it will be hosted in China next year. So.
Wow.
It's a very dominant, well-known international conference, and we are very, very proud to serve as the host during the bicentennial year. And I'm sure Joel, or you can give you information where people can go online, register, attend. You can attend the whole conference. You can come for a single day, but it's going to be a great opportunity. There is a community day where everyone is invited free of charge for the opening day, and that's Sunday, September 21st, right at the Buffalo waterfront.
Well, we're setting up for a full summer of events, and that's certainly a highlight, a global organization. You mentioned Poland last year, China next year, but here in Seneca, or here in New York State and Buffalo this year, which is pretty cool for sure. So there's other stuff we could certainly go on for a long time, but there's other cool things that are happening. Like, for instance, Stewart's ice cream has a special flavor. You touch on some of these extra things that we might want to look for this summer.
Well, that's really so Brian Stratton really has a love for ice cream. So
Don't
Brian,
we all?
Yeah, well, but so Brian, you want to talk about the process of the ice cream and how we came up with the flavor?
I had nothing to do with the tasting of the various flavors, though I volunteered, but that was not to be. Stewart shops may not be as well known in the Seneca Falls, Finger Lakes area, but they are a staple here in the eastern portion of the state. They are a great dairy, kind of like burn areas for you. and they have generously donated the opportunity to officially name one of their mainline flavors in honor of the Erie Canal by Bicentennial. So we took it to our employees, both within the Canal Corporation and with NYPA, the New York Power Authority, the organization that we are parented by. And there were many, many entries, and we were proud to announce the winning flavor recently at a Canal's NYPA all hands meeting. And it is a beautifully minty chocolate flavor. And the title of that flavor is called, the name of that flavor is Minted in 1825.
Oh, wow.
Very
Yeah,
play
that's cool.
on the date that the canal opened, and a very delicious flavor. So Stewart shops are going to be having that available for scooping at their stores, and I think they'll do some exterior promotion also. So
A couple other things, like a Big Ditch Brewing doing something special as well.
Big Ditch Brewing, of course, is the brewery out of Buffalo, and all of their Big Ditch brews are named after the canal. They are a official sponsor of the tour of the Seneca Chief, and we're going to be working with them, and they're going to be traveling the Seneca Chief, or following the Seneca Chief all along its journey, and offering Big Ditch brews at every stop. So they are going to have a special Erie Canal Bicentennial brew, not only available on tap, but in packaging within stores. So your local Wegmans or other stores out there will have Big Ditch brew, so you can celebrate the Bicentennial.
And even a lottery ticket. Something with the lottery for the Bicentennial.
The New York Lottery is going to step up in a very big way. I'm not at liberty to announce that yet, but they are going to have a very big game, and it's all going to be built around the Bicentennial of the Erie Canal, and the prizes are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, anything that we didn't cover, Joelle, that you can think of?
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of, exciting things going on. One of the things right now going on in Canandaigua, it's called NYSDIA, the New York State Tourism Industry Association. One of the things that they're talking about is the Lois McClure replica ship that was right here in Seneca Falls, docked here for quite some time, as well as the work going on in Seneca Lake. They are doing a mapping of the bottom of Seneca Lake. There's a marine archaeologist, Art Cohen, doing that, and they have found intact packet boats that sunk on Seneca Lake. And as you know, it's the deepest of the Finger Lakes, but they are working to finish that, and with student participation and college participation. And once that is done, it's going to be a really, really exciting final product. But in the meantime, it's also really exciting what they're finding. And right now, that Art Cohen is talking about that in Canandaigua. I believe it's today or tomorrow. So
we do a whole show about that, maybe.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting. And they're talking about Cuga Lake next. So provided that he can get the financing together, that's another opportunity to see what's on the bottom of Cuga Lake as well, because as you know, that's part of the canal system.
Sure. I know that there was a steamboat that sunk down there somewhere at some point, and bridges that used to cross Cuga Lake back in the day too. So yeah, so much history surrounding the Erie Canal and our region in general, and a great opportunity this summer to get out with the family and experience some of the history of the Erie Canal and some of the great events that are going on throughout the state, wherever you might be traveling to, or some of the stuff will be right in your backyard. So it should be a great summer. So good luck. We're getting there. May 16th it opens. Like I said, the weather today feels like we're ready to get going for summer. So Joelle and Brian, I really appreciate you coming in, spending the time to fill us in on the bicentennial season on the New York State Erie Canal system and the Erie Canal.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's a pleasure to be with you. We look forward to seeing everyone out this summer on the Erie Canal, on the Cayuga Seneca Canal, and all over our 524-mile canal system. It's going to be a great year, and we're only just getting underway.
Yep, finally getting underway here after a long winter. So, thanks everybody for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show, click like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next week with Catherine Chase, another edition of Wine Wednesday already here from the Cuga Lake Wine Trail. Until then, enjoy the weather. Have a great weekend here in the Finger Lakes.